Going to take just a few minutes and let folks come in. You can settle into your space. Tara and Sarita, Paola, and friend.
We have one friend that really wants to get to know this word. Her name is
Yolanda and Yolanda, welcome. Here we are again, Golden Girls Global 2022. Take a few minutes and get oriented.
I said, I hope things pick up here.
I hope so.
We are to keep you around if they don't.
Yolanda Swally, hi love.
Yes.
So glad you're
for 3 days a week.
I think we can hear Larry. There you go. But we want to see your sweet faces.
Only hope we have. Only hope we have. Spirits calling through heart's desire, destroying fear with love's fire. Sleeping warrior now awaken to the cries of love's forsaken. Only hope we have. Only hope.
Finding our breath as we get ready to come to the screen, to each other, to the spirit of this work, spirit of the amazing, spirit of feminine, all your cycles of life, mother and ancestors, your souls. Turn towards each other. Good morning, good afternoon. Some of you are sleeping as we meet. But we know many of you will hear this recording. Welcome. Claudine, will you do this next piece and then we'll do some more movement.
Thank you and welcome everybody. It's and Happy New Year. It's good to be here, and would like to start by surrendering and inviting in the energy of goodness. And as we speak these words to our bodies and our hearts, may we receive them and may they guide us throughout the whole year and throughout the whole week and the whole day today. Dear God, we give this day to you, the fruits of our labor and the desire of our hearts. In your hands, we place all our quest to success. On your shoulder, we place all our burdens. We pray that our families and friends who may experience your gracious love. May we all be blessed. May we find our way home into our bodies, from pain to peace, from fear to love. May you have a lovely day. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. So we welcome Savitri and the Yolanda in the north, Yolanda in the south. Paola, what is your friend's name?
Charlene. Hello, nice to meet you all.
Hi, Charlene, and Tara, Claudine, and Sarita. So we're going to take just 4 minutes or so and come into our own universe. This is a time for us to do what Claudine suggested, open to the divine being, however you name that. God, Goddess, Great Spirit, Beloved. However you understand how breath moves through your flesh. We're going to let the music pick us up and just be with ourselves and live into a simple question of what was one thing that helped us get through these holidays, and come back into our group and say hello one more time. We're welcoming Gabs. Welcome, dear Gabs. And so the music will pick us up, and let's have a little bit of a dance. Since it's winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, let's really begin in our core. Deep inner landscape. Heart, spine, solar plexus, organs of digestion. Organs of elimination and creation. Allowing ourselves to move and to notice what it's like inside, feeling sensations, vibrations. Breath. Letting our awareness come down our legs, through our strong thighs. Hips, knees, all the way down to our feet.
Our beauty does not wilt. It's timeless. It doesn't pass away. Your beauty is not exotic. It is not from the east, nor from the west. It is not from the north or the south. Your beauty and mine are twins. They are like drops of water from an ocean formed by millions of drops of unconditional love.
Letting the energy rise up from
Your beauty is
your heart
sacred.
and out through your wings.
Nobody can deny it. It has no age, no gender. It is not rich nor poor. It's like a breath, a breath. It is in our eyes, in the wrinkles of our faces, in our hands, our smiles. Our beauty is within us.
Front of your body and back of it. Whole body. And dear friends, come on the screen. Let's offer that to each other in the reflection of what we really see that in each other. Taking a moment to really feel the truth of that. Very truth of your own beauty. Head and heart, breast, chest, and torso. All the way down. All the way down. and standing before each other, just a simple shape of, yes, I see your beauty. You are beautiful, and I am beautiful. Deep breath in, and we'll come to our screens. Okay, loves, Golden Girls Global is a well-earned, intimate space, which means we need to be together as vulnerably and visibly as possible. I really want to encourage y'all to come out from behind your screens. We miss you. We need to be able to smell each other, touch each other. And if we can't do all that, let's be able to see each other. Hello, Yolanda. Mwah. Good to see you. So before I pass the baton, thank you, Claudine, to one of my dearest friends on the whole planet, I want to have us do a quick check-in. Our name, where we're located in this moment, and one word to describe something that helped us get through the holidays. They maybe felt really holy, and they maybe felt really, who knows what. So I'm Melissa, I'm here in Seminole Territory, South Florida, and reading an amazing book. Reading got me through. How about you, Tara?
I'm here in Denver, Colorado, and my morning practice of breath and movement got me through the holidays. Sarita?
Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Melissa. My name is Sarita, she, her, and I am in Longmont, Colorado. And the thing that little ember sparking with creative dreams and ideas is what lit the way for me through this holy, quiet, dark, freezing nights. Yoli, Yolanda, Swali.
Hello, I'm Yolanda Swally. I'm in Kyle, South Dakota at the moment. Holidays were rough. A lot of things got me through. Knitting, my dog, my husband, and I had my children around, so that was a blessing. Also my parents. I was there for my parents, but they were also there for me. Yeah, that's what got me through, is more or less family. Always holiday family. Yep. Let me see. I don't have a picture of everybody on here. Let's see. Claudine.
There you go, love.
Good morning. What has kept me through going through this week, holidays, has been prayer and the community and dance. I will pass to Dorcas.
While we're waiting to see if Dorcas can join with voice, I just want to read out of the chat. For those of you who are watching the recording, this is from Gabs. Hello, loved ones. I'm so sorry I can't participate with voice and video as I'm working, but I'm listening to you with a heart. Gabs, they, them. I'm in Porto Alegre, Brazil, and the thing that helped me through the holidays was affection. Thank you, Gabs. We love you and miss your face, but it's good to have you here with us. Yes.
Welcome, welcome. So glad you're here.
Hi.
Dorcas, are you ready to go? Okay. Oh, looks
Hi,
like
this is Dorcas.
we can hear you. Welcome.
Hello. Okay. Thank you. This is Dorcas. I'm calling from Ghana, and one thing that kept me was prayer and family, to be around family. It was such a blessing. And I'll pass it on to Tara. No, Tara, you've gone. Maria.
Maria is my second name. So I am in Tenochtitlan, Mexica territory, Mexico City at the moment with Charlie. And the thing that got me through this past couple of months definitely is been, one of them has been dance. And another of them has been work, so passion, like doing the work that I'm passionate about. And I pass it to Charlie.
Hey everyone, I'm Charlene. I'm in the same place. And three things got me through this holiday was new friendships, the sea, so giving to the sea what doesn't belong anymore, and commitment to vision.
Welcome. All right, we're almost through the group. I think we have Vanessa. Welcome, sweetheart. We're just checking in. One thing that's helped us get through the holidays. I'm wondering who's ready. Savi, Yolanda, Gabs, or Vanessa? Who's got this? Just unmute and go for it. And where you are. Well, Gabs already spoke in.
Okay, Gabs, go first.
No. Gabs, they already spoke in. He spoke in. Over to you, Vanessa.
Okay. All right. I'm Vanessa, and I'm currently in Minnesota. So the only thing that kept me going is God's grace. And I'll pass it on to Savitri.
Thank you, Vanessa, to hear your voice, and thank you, everybody. Good morning, guys. I'm Savitri from Boulder, Colorado, US. And I like to walk in the nature. It's really pretty out there. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Sarita, would you help a little bit with Yolanda here? One word. Thank you.
Olá, Yolanda. Yolanda Demetrio, você está aqui? Pode me ouvir?
Sim, Sarita, estou conseguindo ouvir sim.
Oi,
Bom
querida.
dia!
Bom dia, bem-vinda. A gente está falando uma palavra ou dois sobre como, que é o que nos dá fortaleza, que está dando luz para nós neste momento.
Que está dando luz. O que hoje, nesse momento, está me dando muita luz é o meu foco, é a minha energia e as minhas rezas.
Lindo. Obrigada, querida. Obrigada por compartilhar. Eu vou traduzir, sim? Bem-vinda.
Ok.
Oi. So Yolanda Demetrio is in Brazil, Rocinha, and she says that what is giving her energy is her focus and her prayers. And focus and prayers and her energy. And I want to welcome Pratima, who just came in, and my dear friend Guada Romero, coming in from Tucumán, Argentina. Welcome, welcome. Pratima, we're just going around saying where we are, what we are, where we are, who we are, and something that's given us strength and energy, gotten us through the last season of these holy nights. Thank you.
One word, one. Why don't you go, Pratima, and then we'll welcome Guada. And we'd love to see you. Oh, thank you for letting us see you, Pratima.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. Greetings. My name is Pratima Thami. I'm originally from Nepal. Right now, I'm based in Fairfax, Virginia. I work in DC. I'm working with Save the Children right now with the humanitarian public health team. What has got me through this season? I think for sure the sunlight we get, Virginia gets every now and then this winter, and just being outside and getting fresh air. And what was the next question?
You answered all of them, love. We're
Okay,
so glad
perfect.
you're here. Thank you for making space.
Of course. And passing on to
Guada.
yes.
Hello, Guada. Let us see you. Guada has navigated through a deep study with us online, and we're so happy you're joining us with Golden Girls Global. Sarita and Guada have worked together deeply, and we've had the chance to be together on numerous occasions too. Come, let us see you, love. One thing that's helping you get through the holidays, or helped you. We'll come back to you. Maybe you're having something happen in your world, but we're so glad you're here. And I am so glad you're all here. Decades ago, I had the good fortune of meeting a golden star, a goddess, a young person becoming a teaching for all of us right before my eyes and close at my side. Tara King, can you imagine having the name Tara, Earth, King? Is such a queen and such a role model as a grandma and a mother, as a business owner, as an impeccable friend, and as someone who knows what it is to struggle and rise again and again. And Tara's relationship with your body and your heart, with your own soul, is so connected and congruent, and really a role model for all of us. And I'm so blessed to have you as a friend. And we are right here, ready to receive your teachings at the next level. May this be a launching for you and for all of us, a place to come into the warmth of your good company and into right relationship with ourselves at new levels. Thank you, Tara, for being with us. Over to you.
Thank you, Melissa. What a beautiful introduction. And I'm so happy to be here with all of you. The topic for today is self-care, and self-care through the seasons of our lives. And so I want to start with a definition of self-care, and there are many, and we'll be curious to hear your definitions of self-care later. I recently read that from Alexandra Pope, who wrote a book called The Wild Genie about menstruation. And she talked about self-care being a practice of undiluted self-interest. And I just love that. I feel like self-care is this sacred time to be with ourselves. And that self-care is really about self-preservation. And it's really this idea that we have to focus on ourselves and put ourselves first, and not in, to me, self-care is different than self-soothing. I feel like we can get into this place of wanting to be comfortable, and that sometimes that doesn't serve our growth. And self-care is really about how do we tend to, as Melissa was talking about, this inner place, as we also know so well with the dance and so many of the practices that we do in this community together. How do we tend to that inner landscape in a way that actually keeps activating our movement forward? And I know there's a lot of ways that we have to self-soothe. And I spent years really struggling with this idea of the difference between what was calming and soothing and what was actually serving me, healing myself, resourcing myself, and moving forward in my life. So this self-interest in you, tending to your needs. So those are some some definitions, this idea of activating your best self and really creating a sacred time so that you can move towards the truth of you. So I had emailed you, Sarita, with a couple of handouts that we might put in the chat at some point. So this idea of self-care, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, you know, when we're out of balance. So today I want to talk about self-care. We've talked about the definition, kind of the signs of when you might not be taking such good care of yourself, signs and symptoms that you may be out of balance, and talk about the seasons of life and the different ways that self-care can support those different inner seasons that we have and outer seasons. And then, which are really about the developmental phases and the archetypes of womanhood. And then if we have time, talk about a self-care plan. So that's my intention for today. And so some of the things that we can notice, and I know that all of us here have practices of noticing what is going on inside of our own beings and noticing when we feel out of balance. But some of the signs that we may not be taking the best care of ourselves are increased moodiness, if we're having severe highs and lows, if we're angry or hostile, if we're getting sick often, if our immune system is lowered, if we are feeling depressed, if we're feeling anxious or having panic attacks, if we are feeling like we just can't get a clear sense, we have that brain fog, if we're sleepy all the time, or if we're not sleeping, both of those things. Sometimes it can manifest in physical pain that doesn't have a source, or twitchy muscles, muscle spasms. If our concentration and our energy is kind of all over the place, in recovery circles, they call it itchy, twitchy, and bitchy. So if you're feeling moody, if you're feeling like you're just a scattered person, if you're having issues with coordination or balance, sometimes when we're falling down a lot, or we're bumping into things, or we're getting bruised or hurt physically, that can be a sign that we're not taking care of ourselves. Lack of initiation or motivation, fatigue, low energy, poor memory, or impulse control, increased sensitivity, inability to experience pleasure. So I'm sure these all make a lot of sense to you. And looks like Sarita just posted this in the chat. Thank you so much. So in recovery circles, when you are recovering from either an addiction to a substance or a behavior, it can take 18 to 24 months for your brain chemistry to come back online. And I think that we're all recovering from not taking the right kind of care and the proper amount of care of ourselves. We live in a culture that doesn't value self-care. We see it as selfish. We can be told that we're selfish if we put ourselves first. And so I think we're all in recovery from something because of our cultures, our families, and the way we were raised, and our lack of resources, and all of that. So I think it's interesting. I think it just gives some space to giving yourself a lot of grace and spaciousness around learning to care for ourselves in a way that feels like we're really putting our self-interest first. So and many of you have seen me use this wheel of the seasons. And I know that many of you are in places where there are not 4 seasons. As Melissa spoke to, in this hemisphere, we are in the season of winter right now. But I know in a lot of places, it's not cold and dark. You're in the summer season or a different season. But the idea of this wheel, the seasons, these inner seasons that we have that correspond with our developmental phases and also the outer seasons, is this idea that at different times of our life and different times of the year, different times of the month, we have a time that is quieter, where we are pulled in with our energy. We have a time where we start to wake up and come out. We have this time where we are really high energy, and then we have a time where we're pulling back in. And in Colorado, we're lucky because we have all 4 of these seasons. We have a winter season, we have a springtime, we have a summer, and we have an autumn, a fall. And to know that at each of these seasons, there is a transition time coming in to the change of season, then there's a settling in, and then there's another transition. And each of these phases are really transitions on a big journey of life that we're all on. So we start with the maiden. Many of you are maidens. You're in that developmental phase of maidenhood, which is teenage years. It's from your first menstrual cycle. Menarche, that first time that you bleed, really through your early 20s and into your 30s, and either until you become a mother, a physical mother, where you are bearing and raising a child, or you are mothering and tending to projects and people in your community. So either of those places. So the maiden, the springtime of our lives, actually, this new beginning, it's really that stepping from your inner world of being with your family and the people who are close into you, to stepping to the shore of looking to the outer world, of starting to see that your friends, your peers are becoming important to you. So it's really this time of, you're really giving birth to yourself. You're waking up to who you are in relationship to the outer world. And a teacher of mine, Melissa, says that maidenhood, menarche, this time of your first cycle, first bleeding, is when you begin your rule. You take the office of womanhood. You step into that to begin your rule. So it's crossing that threshold from little girl to young woman. It is a time of a sudden burst of development, and it can happen over a decade, or it can happen very quickly. We see it now, where young girls are going from little girls to young women very, very quickly. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And next month, we will talk about each of the cycles and the phases of the menstrual and fertility cycle, and we'll really go into what it means in each of these places as far as the physiological pieces. But today, we're just really talking about these life cycles. So this time of maidenhood, it's really erratic. So there's a lot of attention that needs to be paid to finding your rhythm, creating a routine, landing, really finding that place in yourself. It's just, I mean, at each phase, it's a great place to track what's happening and track your cycles, track your interests, track your desires, track your cravings, and all of the cycles that you have. But it's part of finding this rhythm and this routine, really creating some inner structure and some external structure for the chaos. It's very erratic. Hormones are erratic, and you're waking up to all sorts of new things. So some of the strategies, the ways to support, and in your handout you have this. I have a breath practice for each of the phases. I have a couple of plants, herbal plant medicines that coordinate to the phases, and then also a supplement. And calcium is one of the supplements that really, it's a mineral that all of our bodies need, and we need it at every phase actually of our development. So calcium is a really good one. Oats, eating oatmeal, drinking oat straw tea, and taking oat tincture is a really good thing for this phase of life. It starts to bring in nourishment for the nervous system, and it helps to settle the overwhelm and the inconsistency that can happen. And the breath is a breath for anxiety. It's breathing in through your mouth, breathing out through your nose, breathing in through your nose, and then breathing out through your mouth. So I've written it down in the handout for you. And this can be a time of anxiety for sure. And that can help settle. So really the strategy for supporting this phase, and there's a lot of things, and I've given a lot of ideas here for how you can care for yourself. Yeah, we can try that breath together. Let's do that. Actually, that's a great idea. And I want to say that this breath has actually saved my life. It's definitely saved me from having to really need much more intensive care or support when I have a tendency to worry, and I have a tendency to be anxious, and also a tendency to quickly go into panic. And this breath has really, really helped me settle down. So feel where you're sitting. Start there. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. Allow your shoulders to drop. And start by breathing in through your nostrils, finding your own pace. And then you'll breathe out through your mouth. And then you'll breathe in through your mouth like you're sipping through a straw. And then exhale out your nostrils. Breathing in through your nostrils. Out through your mouth. Sipping air through a straw. And then out through the nose. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the straw of your mouth. And then out through your nostrils. Let's take 3 more breaths just like that at your own pace. Beautiful. Taking a moment to notice how you feel after that breath, letting that settle in, and just noticing. So the breath, of course, as we know, is one of our best resources that we can carry with us anywhere, anytime. So during our maiden phase, this time of giving birth to ourselves, beginning our rule, taking the office of womanhood, it's really good to move our bodies, of course. Rhythm and routine is what is going to support us moving from our maiden phase of life, our season of maidenhood, of springtime, into the summertime of our lives. As we move into the season of summer, the archetype of mother, the life phase of season of life of mother, which is really about balancing our needs with others and the responsibilities of the world. So you can see how finding that rhythm, knowing what your own rhythms are, knowing what your own cycles are, really supports that as you are now moving into, if you are physically and literally mothering, you are tracking other human beings, you're tracking their cycles. If we're mothering projects or other people in our community, we're also tracking others. So we have to be able to track ourselves and track someone else. So this is actually one of the hardest phases for self-care. We have to work really hard at self-care because we're so busy taking care of others, literal human beings, projects, ideas, visions, dreams. So this is really the birthing times. These are the childbearing years. We give birth to children, to creative projects, to our life work. And it's the time of summer. It's also the time of, in our menstrual cycle, it's the time of ovulation. So when an egg is released, the time of being fully fertile. As far as monthly bleeding, this is the time when our monthly blood is the most rhythmic and the most regulated often. And our menstrual cycle, our monthly blood, is one of our biggest and best reminders to slow down and take care of ourselves. So the more we tune into that, the more we are actually served with being able to layer in these self-care practices. So as far as breathing, taking a nice, big, deep belly breath, let's do that together. Just taking a deep breath, feeling your belly expand, feeling your pelvic floor expand. And then on the exhale, feel your navel draw in towards your spine. Let's take 3 more breaths like that. Just inhaling, expanding that beautiful belly and your pelvic floor, letting it soften. And on the exhale, drawing your pelvic floor up and your belly in. Inhale, softening and expanding, letting your eyes soften, your shoulders soften. And on the exhale, drawing up and in, feeling that slight drawing in of your energy. One more, receiving a breath, filling, and on the exhale, letting go, drawing your energy back in. And you can notice that. You can just notice what's easier. Is it the receiving of the breath or is it the letting go? Is it the receiving of breath and resource, or is it the pushing out? And one of the things that you can use as your breath, which can be really helpful during this time, is lengthening your exhale. So exaggerating your exhale, either using sound or having a longer exhale than your inhale. So motherwort tincture is a great resource during this time. Its Latin name is Lionaris cardiaca. And it's really about this idea that it not only supports our physiological, hormonal, endocrine system, but it also supports our physical and emotional heart. So it's really good for the cardiovascular system for women. It's another one that's really good actually through all the phases, but especially during this mothering, this summer phase. And raspberry leaf tea is another one that is so nourishing. It's nourishing for the uterus. It's full of calcium, magnesium, all sorts of minerals, and is really helpful. And we'll talk more. We can talk more. I have a lot of resources as far as plants and plant medicine, and I would love to share those with you. And my intention for next month, so you know, is to really talk about the plants, the foods, the practices for each phase of the menstrual cycle that will be supportive. So Melissa and I had a dear friend many, many years ago named Wan Shea, a midwife, who one of her biggest requirements and encouragements for the women that she served as a midwife was to walk in every kind of weather, in every season. She felt like this was one of the best things that we could do to build up our capacity for walking through all of the demands that happen in this summertime of our life. When we are tending to others, we're tending to projects, we have so many responsibilities outside of ourself. So walking in weather as a prep for literally parenting, whatever it is and whoever it is that we are parenting. So magnesium glycinate is another supplement. Calcium, of course, is really important here, but magnesium glycinate is a supplement that is really important. We're actually, most of us, really deficient in magnesium. You can soak in a magnesium bath. You can get magnesium flakes and soak. You can get Epsom salts and soak in that and absorb all of that in through your skin. You have to stay in the bath for about 20 minutes, but you can also take it internally, and it helps with just supporting our nervous system, that the sheath around our nerves, so helping us settle in there. And really important for our sleep, for our ability to cope and interface. So magnesium is really important. Obviously, getting our bodies moving, getting our blood pumping, we all know about that, walking and dancing, riding a bike, gardening, doing active yoga. There's so much that we're doing during this phase that is about being in the flow, but is also about setting boundaries. So really creating a space for yourself in your home, your own peace corner. Often we will create peace corners for our children so that they have a place to go when they need to regulate. And it's really important for us to create that for ourselves. And ask for help. Create a self-care plan, which we're going to talk about here at the end. But choose one thing that you can do differently. And again, having those routines and rhythms in place during the springtime of our seasons really will help support us here. So knowing that you're going to get up 5 minutes early or 10 minutes early before the rest of your household awakes, or you are going to give yourself, 10 minutes in the morning before the first phone call from work comes, so that you can actually ground and come into yourself and your space before tending to anybody else. Giving your brain a boost is really important here. So writing, reading, as Melissa said, doing crossword puzzles, journaling, meditating. So when we get quiet, we calm the fluctuations of the mind. We also do that when we move. So both of those are really important, but really tending to our minds here, especially when we can be so focused and full. It's like our brains are full of caring for everybody else and tending to those visions and creating, that we have to really find some time to get still so that we can keep caring for our brains. Find time to be with others. This is a great time for a women's group. This is a great time for a mom's group, a book club, joining together so that you make time for friends. It's important for us to have time for ourselves and to find that balance, but it's also really important. Isolation can be really hard on us during this time, and really easy to do because we're so busy. So I think the thing that here, understanding and having cycle awareness really helps with the next phases as you move into the next life cycle, this life cycle of the queen of autumn. This is that time of premenstrual phase. It's that day 20 to 26, right before menstruation happens. And this is really the time of life when you are finding balance with the psychological effects of changing hormones. And it's really a time of reclaiming your inner gifts. So this can be a really challenging time because, again, just like in the springtime of our life, there's a lot of erratic symptoms and imbalances that happen on many levels: the physical level, the emotional level, the spiritual level. It can be a time when we decide that we want to change what we're doing with our careers, with our families, where we're living. So there's a lot that can be really erratic here. And while you may still be of childbearing age and ability, actually the most unexpected, unplanned pregnancies happen in the springtime of a woman's fertility cycle, and then this autumn time, because we are not cycling regularly. And so it's really hard to track. So this is a time of changing of the tides. It's a natural transition. It's a bridge from childbearing, using our fertility to, if we decide to do that, to bear children, to really becoming a wisdom keeper of our community. We're giving birth to our life work. We're giving birth to our community. We are, at this point, really ruling over ourselves and our community. So ways to support. Sitali breath is a breath that is a cooling breath. So you'll hear, that it's a cooling and calming breath. So it literally cools the physical body, but it also can cool the emotional body. And it's a simple breath of breathing in through your mouth through a straw, and then breathing out through your nose. So we can try that together. Just taking a moment. So you're just going to breathe in like you're sucking in through a straw. Slow and deep, and then out through your nostrils. Letting everything go, letting everything relax. Breathing in through the mouth. Feeling that cool air, and then exhaling through the nostrils. Feeling your shoulders relax, your jaw relax. Let's do that 2 more times. So breathing in. And out through the nose. Beautiful. That focus is really on feeling that cool air fill you up and letting go, really letting your shoulders go, letting yourself relax, really letting go of anything that doesn't serve. Some good plants for this time are lemon balm. Lemon balm is known as the gladdening herb. It was said in the Materia Medica of many 100 years ago that it was actually to calm the craziness of the female. So it's it's not that I think that we're crazy, but these fluctuations that we have were perceived as crazy for a long time. And now we know that it's really normal, and that it's also an indicator maybe that things are not in alignment in other areas of your life. So lemon balm can be really supportive. The only contradiction is if you have hypothyroidism, don't use lemon balm, but otherwise it's safe for all phases of and seasons of life. Damiana is an herb that can be really helpful during this time as well. And nettles is a really nourishing herb that you can drink a ton of it. You can drink a quart of it a day, and it's helpful for the kidneys. It's supportive for the vascular system. It's just a really good nourishing herb. And at this point, calcium is really important. As our hormones change, we can start to lose bone density. So calcium is really important here, and we want to boost our calcium for when we move into the next phase of life. And evening primrose oil is a supplement that helps to regulate hormones and is really important here just to take daily. So at this point, a healthy, disciplined morning practice, a practice of daily meditation and mindfulness, a daily practice of movement, breath work, art, writing, all of these things are really important here. And to know that it can change every day. There are some days when getting out of bed at 5:30 to do a practice is just not really feasible. Because often we are really tending to our community and our families at this point. So having a lot of loving kindness, positive self-talk, affirmations here is really important. Having gratitude. My meditation teacher says, what if you could relent complaint? What if you could make a commitment to never complain ever again? And at this time in our lives, when there can be so many physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual symptoms happening, how can we have an attitude of gratitude and appreciate how well we really are instead of complaining? Being of authentic service, letting go of our need to help and rescue or change other people, and really help from this pure place, this true place of how can I actually be of service. Boundaries. I have this great quote that is on my refrigerator that I wanted to share with you. So boundaries, this is a time when, what can you say no to? So your boundary need not be an angry electric fence that shocks those who touch it. It can be a consistent light around you that announces, I will be treated sacredly. That's Jaya John. Your boundary need not be an angry electric fence that shocks those who touch it. It can be a consistent light around you that announces, I will be treated sacredly. So working with your cycle, having gratitude for your fertility cycle, and allow the symptoms to serve you. So if you are tired, allow that tiredness to serve you. Alexandra Pope talks about building in a 1% change. If you could build in 1% more time to devote to caring for yourself, if you could do that every day, it would build up into a self-care practice that was really rich and full. And this idea that when somebody asks us to do something, we can say, I'm going to get back to you on that, or I need to consult my calendar, or I need to consult my diary. And Alexandra Pope talks about actually writing in your journal or your calendar a time to do nothing, a time to rest, a time for you. And if it doesn't get scheduled in at this point, it's really hard to make time for that. So scheduling that in, building in 1% change. Yes, Melissa officinalis. Yes, that's lemon balm. We love that. Melissa officinalis is the Latin name for lemon balm. The the herb that is so supportive. All right, so building in that time for nourishment, for resting, for doing less, for saying no, for pausing before you commit to things is really, really important. And it's part of how we will make the transition from this autumn phase, this season of autumn, to winter. So winter is symbolic and linked with menopause. And menopause is the cessation of bleeding. You're considered in menopause. It's the pause of menstruation if you have not had a menstrual cycle for 1 year. It's this time in our cycles, that first few days of our cycle of bleeding, that is really where we're coming into ourselves. It's like taking a hot cup of tea to the kitchen table while the outside is cold and dark, to tend to ourselves. This is the culmination of our wisdom and power to be used for the larger community. We're the guardianship at this point of future generations. And we are listening to our inner voice. We are the wisdom keeper who gives birth to the planet by sharing what we've learned. So we are birthing things that are bigger than we ever could have imagined. It's a shift here. So in the beginning, in Menarche, there's that shift from the inner world to the outer. And here we have the shift from the outer world to the inner. So we often, when we get here to this place of crone, of elder, we're really tired. It's a really vulnerable place because we've been so busy tending to everybody else, to our life work, to our visions, to our community, to our families, to the next generation. And we're really tired and we're really vulnerable. So this is a time when self-care, self-interest has to go way up. And it's that combination between wanting to support our community and create a lineage. We're really, at this point, we're thinking about what our lineage is for the next generations. But how do we do that in a way that is also honoring the aging process? And even for those of us who have taken really, really good care of our bodies, we're not getting any younger at this point. And there are certain things that are happening. So those supplements, this is a really important time for calcium. It is a time when weight-bearing exercises are really important. Yoga builds bones. It's that, those things where using your own body weight builds your bones. And it's really important that we do those things, that we stay active, that we do what we love. We have to, at every phase, we have to stay hydrated and eat healthy and nourishing foods, but really, really important here. We have to make sure that we get sunshine and fresh air, of course. Vitamin D is really important. So getting out in the sun, but also supplementing with vitamin D, and fish oil for cardiovascular health is important during this time. This is a time when we know when to release our gifts and when to tend to them. Tamara Slayton, another teacher of Melissa and I, she says, this is a time, the crone, she turns her loss of childbearing capacity towards the earth and all children. She becomes the teaching. She's the storyteller and the story. So this is a time when we're focusing on our quality of life and how do we better manage and increase our resilience and our resistance. So it's a time of holding our power within. And we have to be willing to receive support. And it's tricky for those of us who have been helping and tending and giving for our whole lives. So of course, we know in all seasons, the breath is one of our biggest resources, nature, community, nourishment, both nourishment of body, but nourishment of soul, water, both drinking water, staying hydrated, putting our bodies in water, getting near water, oceans, bodies of water, gratitude, rest, and boundaries are really important. So both being able to receive and also able to say no, thank you. So really quick, because I know we want to move into the next phase, but this idea of creating a self-interest plan, and I think, we talked about it in the mother phase, the summer phase, of how important it can be to have a plan, otherwise this can get lost. And one of the things that can happen that we can do is you can just make a list of the things that maybe are symptoms, things that are out of balance right now. Things that you are noticing are expressions of things that might indicate that you need more self-care. So you can look at that list that we talked about, but an example that I have is like exhaustion, feeling so exhausted. So what's the strategy? What is the sacred task that I could assign to this? So for me, it's really focusing on going to bed earlier, shutting everything down, giving myself a few minutes of quiet before I turn out the lights. Also, maybe putting my legs up the wall, laying on the floor, putting my legs up the wall, or resting my calves on a chair, something where I can actually just slow down and tend to that need for rest. It might also be getting up earlier and getting right to my mat for a practice, or it might be that I actually need to stay in bed a little bit longer. So you'll have to work with that. Brain fog, this is another one. So for me, getting off the computer and taking a brisk walk, bundling up if it's cold, going outside, getting some fresh air, getting some sunshine. So creating a plan can really help us, and it can remind us when we are in those moments of feeling out of balance, that we actually know 1 or 3 things that we can actually turn to and try to shift the energy. So sometimes if you get like achy legs during the day, or achy legs when you're trying to fall asleep, maybe you need more calcium at night. Maybe you need to move your body. Maybe you need to actually strengthen the muscles. You need to do some squats, or really fatiguing the muscles so that they can just rest at night. So if you're irritable or moody, you can focus on letting go. You can breathe, bringing in that longer exhale. If you're anxious, maybe you connect to love. You connect to 5 things that you're grateful for, or connecting to your heart for, someone or something that you feel love for. How do I want to close? I want to close by just saying that this is so much. Self-care is a lifetime, and self-interest. How can we just take interest in these beautiful bodies and beings that we are, and give ourselves a lot of grace around this? It's a lifetime. And I think that for all of us to start this practice of noticing if what we're doing is truly self-care and activating us toward the truth of who we are, or if we are soothing ourselves and maybe keeping ourselves stuck in some patterns that aren't moving us forward. So at the bottom of this handout, and Sarita put this in the chat, but there's some questions. and a suggestion of writing a letter to your wise inner self. So noticing all of these inner seasons that we have within us, the season of spring, the season of summer, the season of fall, the season of winter, maiden, mother, queen, crone, menarche, menstruation, ovulation, the luteal phase, that phase before menstruation, and then that follicular phase before ovulation. So writing a letter to your wise inner self, and what are the things that you might have needed in the past, and what would have been helpful? Maybe what would have been helpful to hear, what would have been helpful, and what can you say to your inner self now? And what can you give to yourself now? And how could this inform how you tend to yourself now? So thinking of how you might, what are some ways that you might tend to your maiden or your mother or your queen or your crone at this time, this day? So thank you. And there's more, there's so much more to say, and we'll continue next month with really diving deeply into the phases of the menstrual cycle and our fertility and all the ways that we can continue to care for ourselves. So I know we're going to move into a council, but is there time, Melissa, for us? Are there questions or?
Well, first, I just want you to take a minute, and I believe you spoke about receiving.
Yes.
I heard it loud and clear. I think we all have something we want to offer to you. Tara, that was probably one of the most profound teachings I've heard in forever, and certainly from you. And there's a book in there, and there's many things in there. And I can't even tell you, I'm speechless, and I'm sure I'm not alone. So let's offer Tara a little bit of energy back with our shape, and most importantly, not a shape, just energy, pouring it back to this exquisite teacher and teaching.
Breathing that in. Thank you.
Yeah. So much. So much, like you said, so I'm going to pass the baton to Sarita and Claudine and you as I go and take care of my father on
Thank you, Melissa.
what I'm committed to doing. And I just, I forever changed. Those are my comments to you. And I think it's fine to open it up for a few minutes of questions, but then I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to share in, and Claudine will lead that council. Well, see you all soon in person at Movement Mass, and then next Wednesday right here. Sarita, you've got the host. I can cut out, or I'll just leave it on just in case.
Make me host just to make sure. And we will be back the next first Wednesday of the month, not next Wednesday. First Wednesday in March. Bye, Melissa. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Love.
As we transition to questions and reflections with Tara, I just want to set in the chat, but welcome Siki and Antonia. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you all for being here. Melissa, hi dears. Hi. Wow, I think we're all speechless, but I wonder if anyone has questions, reflections, comments for Tara, and we will do a quick council that Claudine will lead us in a moment, but just while we're still in this learning space, anything that needs to be spoken or wants to be shared or asked.
You're also welcome to bring your questions next month or send me an email always. Beautiful. Well, I think we can transition to our council and give everybody a chance to have a voice. And this idea of this theme of self-care, I think would be a really beautiful council topic of what is self-care for you now, and maybe any discoveries or revelations that you have about self-care for you personally, and also challenges around self-care.
Beautiful. So, Claudine, do you want to do an invocation and give us prompts on how long each person might have for those questions?
Thank you. So this, thank you, Tara, for the great teachings. It's really rich and inspiring. Since it's 10:16, we will try everyone to go 2 minutes. And then if we have extra minutes, we'll come back second round. But may this moment be a moment to just feel home and share from our hearts, and thinking of not just inspiring others, but also continuing to witness the medicine that comes from sharing from our own experiences. And may we have fun. Yeah, I'll be doing like this when your 2 minutes is almost over. I'll be counting. Thank you. Enjoy. Yeah, feel free to start, whoever feels called, and then we do as usual, you call the next person. Or if 1 minute goes by without someone speaking, I will improvise and select someone.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me clearly? Yes. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Tara. Thank you so much. Sorry, I was late. I always love your work. It's really valuable to me as a woman, but also to the girls that I'm working with in South Africa. So thank you very much. So grateful to be here, glad I could make it on time. I am feeling really happy to be here right now at this moment and time. 2 minutes, yeah, okay. I don't know where to start, but maybe what falls here right now is I'm not reflecting, but today has been a day where I was just like really grateful of the tools that I have and that I have learned. Things like breathing, movement, and to know how they serve me in my daily life. The past 2 days has been really tricky and difficult for me. I experienced one of, not biggest, but like a change in my institution. And I lost one of my really favorite lectures that I felt connected to. And I just didn't know how to process that. So it came really quick and there was not like a proper communication. So I didn't know how in that moment to deal with it. But I just, when I got home, I took time to myself and to just like to clear my feelings, to actually validate that it's okay, because sort of like I'm grieving. I've already really built up a good relationship with the lecturer, and I didn't foresee him leaving so recently. So other than that, I am in a good space. I feel really good. I'm excited about the year. I'm looking forward into growing and creating and really taking care of myself. I am looking forward to do self-care workshops, because that's like one of my goals this year, is to really taking serious of my self-care practices. And yeah, I felt like uh, 5 months down the year, but I think I am really opening up myself to new possibilities, college life, Black Girls Rising, and relationships, being a mother. So it is a lot. It is challenging and exciting, but I'm holding that dearly, and I'm holding myself very closely. Yeah, I feel good, man. Okay, I'll pass it. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll pass it to Fatima.
Hi, Siki. Thank you, Tara. And Happy New Year, everyone. For me, I think this was a first winter after like 3 years. Um, past 3 years, I was in school in Florida, so I didn't really get to experience or be affected by the winter. And I think that was kind of like a hard transition, like emotionally, to get used to the dark and cold aspect of this winter. But today, we had our first snow in Virginia, and that really made me happy. And I think I'm slowly getting used to it and finding the rhythm of being outside, even when it's cold and a bit dark. Other than that, January was a little bit hard with the, expectation of New Year, the hustle and bustle of the first month and stuff like that, especially with college application. I'm applying for grad school for fall 2023. And that just, cramped up. And plus winter, not very helpful.
My biggest concern is it has to be sturdy. Yeah, right.
But other than that, I'm really looking forward to February, and this session was just very helpful to set the intention and to be reminded about self-care and the ways we can do it, and just also to name out the signs of when it's time for self-care. I think that handout was very helpful to see it in words and to plan accordingly. So very grateful for Tara and for this session. That's pretty much it on my side. I will pass it to Dorcas, if you're here.
Thank you so much, Pratima. As we jump to Dorcas, just reminding that every time one of us shares, we breathe with them. And as we continue to reflect on what self-care means for us. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Claudine. Thank you, Pratima. And thank you so much, Tara, for your important teaching that you shared. I'm really grateful to have known you, Tara, and worked with you. And I feel like
this the teaching for today is a great reminder to many of us, and to think about being intentional about self-care and not just taking anything for granted, even if you feel okay. You know, I've been reminded about this a lot. The later part of last year was really a trying time for me. I thought everything was okay, and you know, it's just a reminder to be intentional about self-care and, you know, keep, you know, doing the little things that you need to do, drinking water, doing everything that you need to do to stay healthy. And Tara, one of the things that would interest me more, maybe even in our future teachings, would be coming from a part of the world where there's not much access, or even if there's access, it's very expensive. Some of the talking about vitamins and stuff that we might need might not be very accessible. And I'm just wondering, like, thinking about what is already available, how do we, like, when we translate this, the vitamins and things that we need into available foods that we have, like what kind of foods are those that we need to focus more on to, you know, work with? And then also in what are some of the things that we can do for ourselves? For instance, you know, I like what you say, like breath is what we have. It's our first resource, and it's something we have within us. And how do we access what we already have and utilize that going forward? Thank you very much. I would like to call on Antonia.
Hi, everyone. Hi, can you hear me? Are we sharing just like how we feel in this moment and like the past year?
Yes, we are just talking about what self-care means to you, and if you have any questions for Tara.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you for the space. And then I think what self-care means to me, especially like in the last year, like with graduating college and then moving back, is definitely something that Tara mentioned about, like scheduling time for yourself, like scheduling time to do nothing. Hold on, I'll come just now. I'll come just now. I'm sorry. So that for me means like taking time off, you know. I think being in the stillness, because also just like scheduling things to do, like I used to schedule things to do on Thursdays because that's like the day I work the least. But now it became like a chore. Like I need to figure out what to do for self-care on a Thursday. So now I just don't, like, I just exist on that day, whatever it may look like. And then I think really, really strict, really healthy, really big boundaries. I think that's what self-care looks like for me, because realizing that I am now in a space where, like, I moved back, I'm doing things different, I'm working from home, and for some reason everybody thinks I'm available all the time, because they do, it's just like, oh, like, just take your phone and go. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, I can't have a call in the middle of, like, anyway, like, I actually need to be at home Like I actually need to be in a space where it's conducive. So self-care for me is definitely being able to find stillness in nothing, just like having the luxury of time to do nothing, like to do absolutely nothing at all, and not feeling like there's things that I'm missing out on, or like just not having that frustration that I had when I was in school. Because if you were doing nothing, like somewhere there was an assignment due, and that was for 3 years. So just like finding the stillness in nothing. I think that's what self-care is for me right now.
And thank you. Yeah, and I think Tara just shared everything so beautifully. And like that's like the one thing that's gonna be stuck with me, like scheduling time for nothing. And I am gonna pass it to Gabs.
Thank you, Antonia. I'm sorry that I don't have my camera on, but I'm working here. So I just want to thank everyone. And it's nice to be here. It's been a while that I am not here within this community, so it's been really nice. Thank you, Tara. I think as Antonia was sharing, I was really thinking about this for myself too, and how this applied to me. And I don't know, I have some simple answers of like self-care right now. It's just like feeding myself with nice food that makes good to my body and drinking water. It's very hot here because it's summer. And going to the gym, doing exercises, playing with the dogs. And I think there is this shift happening around work for me that is understanding that I can change, that I don't have to like, I don't even know how to explain, because it's something like new that is happening, but that I can change what I want for my life, you know. And I think it's just like being open to new things, and being open to transformations. And I think this is the only way I can explain how this is happening right now. And of course, what is being, I think, the best tool for self-care is being with people, and being affectionate, and being with friends and loved ones. And I think this is also part of why I am here today. And I'm not sure if Yolanda is there. Thank you.
Are you Yolanda Swally?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm here. Alrighty. What self-care means to me. First thing, it's balance. Trying to find a balance. I don't know. Try to feel comfortable in situations. I feel like that self-care. Yeah, I'm actually working really much on my self-care. I'm gonna have to work for myself, so I'm learning how to actually get up and do it instead of being lazy. And I have actually reached out to therapists. And then of course, I think self-care is definitely the program with Golden Bridge for sure. Dancing and finding that extra time to get out of your world just to focus on yourself. Yeah, that's what self-care means to me. Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm not sure who spoke yet just because I'm at work, so I don't know who went. Can someone pick someone for me?
We breathe with Yolanda. Yeah. And we can go with Gwanda.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for this moment in this circle. Okay. ¿Qué pasa? Okay, self-care for me is have a special time with me. Put program in my day a special time with me, take care of me. And it's not only that I'm at this moment in my life being mother and have a lot of work and projects where my heart is, and they are part of me. And self-care is also taking care of my children and taking care of my project, because they are my expression, and when they are fine, I am fine too. And so I think that at this moment of my life cycle, I have to organize and administrate my energy so I can take care better of myself in all the situations of my life, not only in the moment that I am alone, that they are very little moments, but also when I am with my children or when I am working, to take care, to remember me, to be in presence, to breathe, and to create beautiful situations for me. I think that self-care is all the cycle of the day. Start the day with a nice moment, and have a good rhythm. I thank you so much, Tara, because she remembered me each step of this cycle that we go through every day. Oh, here are my and and it's so important to recognize it and recognize in which moment I am in each situation. And okay, I have to breathe. And now I am a mother, and now my self-care is this, no? To be like this and give me a very hug for me and my children, and to find in each situation the best way of habitate myself. Okay, hey, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yo quiero saludar a esos niños. Hola, niños. Hola, amores. Yo soy tu tita. Te queremos. Están bienvenidos aquí. Thank you so much, Wada. I just want to interject here because we didn't have Wada with us during our welcome orientation, and I just want to name, this is my dear friend from childhood in Tucumán, who it's our first time being able to be here in our GGG space with us, because we have this open to the public moment. She's danced with Melissa and I in Tucumán when we went to do our work there, and has done the Thresholds course and loves this work. And I love those babies, and they are welcome. And thank you for modeling breath and presence and rolling with it in that mother cycle, Wada. It's all welcome. Gracias. Thank you. And let's see who needs to be called on, who has not yet spoken, so we don't make poor Wella have to unmute again. How about Savitri? Are you able to speak in now, Savi?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarita. Thank you, everyone. It was really amazing to part of it. Tara, you're wonderful. It was really helpful to hear all the self-care speech and every single one who shared about it. They all has a point and good and very important to take it in. And I'm so grateful to be part of it. Thank you, guys. And for me, I want to do a self-care is yoga in the morning, compulsory, my breath work, and go for a walk in the nature. That's important for me. Thank you, guys. You have a wonderful day. I don't know who's next.
So we have Uche and Uche and Sarita and Tara and Claudine and
Yes,
Melissa.
thank you, Claudine. I'm sorry I missed most of the session. We had programming that only ended like at the 10:30 mark, so I could only join the last 30 minutes. But I'm happy to be here. So with regards to what self-care means to me, this is something I've been thinking about because since after graduation, everything seemed to have been upside down. So I've been trying to get into routine and taking care of myself. But I got to a point where I could not, it felt like I didn't understand what it meant to take care of myself. I felt like I was on autopilot too much. And so I think yesterday when I journaled for the first time in a while, I realized that the simple things, whether it be attending to my emotional needs or my physical needs, is an act of self-care. So I guess for me, then it becomes intentionally taking the step towards taking care of my basic human needs, but also being willing to go inside to do the deeper emotional work. And so in practicality, that also looks like taking more walks, which honestly with the winter has been really hard. In Florida, it was much easier to be like, okay, go outside and walk. But just being in the sun as well is just a simple act of self-care that really helps me stay regulated. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Uche, and everyone. I think self-care for me means just constantly going back inside self and meditating and praying, and also listening to friends, families' advices, or having conversations, because I also tend to worry and be scared. So when I engage with people, when I'm surrounded with people who are much wiser or who understand life more than I can, it really contributes a lot to self-care. And so for me, self-care is community, being part of the community, and also trusting mostly into faith, into the unknown, and believing that I'm not in control of my situation, but always something divine than me, it's always in control of my life. And it comes back to prayer and resting, eating the food, and making efforts to go for short walks. Yeah, the self-care topic is a big, I'm going back and so much to say, but for now, I will pass to Sarita. Thank you, Tara, for reminding us again about the importance of self-care. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudine. Thank you for holding our council so beautifully. And thank you, Tara, for your teachings. And thank you to each of you for your sharing. It's just so wonderful to be back in this space and in the warmth of this council and by the fire of these teachings. I think the thing that is standing out to me right now is what I really appreciated, you kind of teasing out the difference between self-soothing and self-care, Tara. I read something recently that was like, hey, you know, self-care isn't always or necessarily binge watching a TV show and eating chocolate cake. And wow, isn't that the truth? Sometimes it's making a budget on your spreadsheet and creating the auto pay on your bills and working out when you don't want to and doing the stupid to-do list that is like haunting. I find that I can't actually truly be and relax and actually stay true to myself and stay with myself if I haven't done what I need to do to keep my life on track. And so it takes this like override function of like, I'm going to actually abandon myself in order to watch the TV show because I know I have this like underlying, or, you know, it could even be less something that seems really great. Like, I don't know, doing some yoga or dancing or whatever it is. If I know that I didn't do the thing that I need to do to handle my anxiety because my life is requiring action, then I don't actually get to be home in myself when I'm meditating or praying or making art or all these things that can be really positive, but they're not. So it's like that doing and being balance, you know, can we really get anything done if we don't do enough being and taking care of ourselves in like the kind of bodily eat, sleep, drink, you know, and then can we really be and meditate and just be at peace if we didn't handle our business? So the answer is no. In my case, I don't get either if I don't do both. And so as much as I have tried over the years to make bubble baths and ice cream the answer, they're not always. Sometimes they are, but first the to-do list and then and some like, yeah, layering, balancing, titration. So I loved that being named so clearly by you, Tara, and just want to kind of bless all of us in the brave work of discerning, because it's actually really hard to know. Like sometimes we actually can't do the to-do list because our bodies literally can't, and we have to refill our cup and just ever more home in ourselves. How can we be home so we know what isn't actually needed? And that completes my share. Thank you for hearing me. So sweet to be in this council and get to just share and not be holding it. I'm so happy and proud to have you, Claudine, passing the baton. And it's always a true honor to have you here with us, Tara. So thank you. And I will hand it back to you now. Your voice. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I'm feeling you all. I'm feeling us all sitting in a circle together, shoulder to shoulder, and feeling how this circle is unique because each of us are here together. And thank you for welcoming me into this circle and allowing me to come and be with you. It's really an honor and a joy. And thank you, Sarita and Claudine, for holding space. And yeah, I just bless us all with the grace and the compassion for ourselves as we figure this out, as Sarita was saying, you know, as we discern whether we need to do or be. And also this idea that this relationship with ourselves is in the beginning, middle, and end, that's what we have. We have this relationship with ourselves. And I know for me, that has been really hard, feeling like if I put myself first, I'm letting other people down, and coming to this place of realizing that it's actually a service to the people that I'm in relationship with for me to take care of myself. And it makes it so that I am more able to show up in those relationships. And as we know, compromise of your needs and my needs is what relationship is all about. And so for me, as I get older, to understand that's actually one of the most precious things that I can bring to a relationship is me, my authentic, truthful self, and knowing that actually blesses those people and projects that I'm involved in. So thank you for this. Yeah, I bless us all with grace. And, it's just about taking that next right step, do the next right thing, whether it's, getting very quiet and still. It almost always, the next right step starts with stopping so that we can start, slowing down so that we can figure out what the next thing is, and really let your heart and your womb guide you. And I look forward to seeing everybody next month. And, bring your questions, or if you have questions that come up in between now and then, you're welcome to email me. And I really appreciate this reminder about accessibility, that self-care looks really different depending on where we are in the world and the resources that we have available to us. So that will be a big part of the next conversation is, what are those resources that we have access to at all times, regardless of where we are. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. I believe that we are ready to close this out. Is that true? Claudine, do you want to close us? For those of you watching the recording, we will attach the two handouts that Tara has shared with us on that email, on this email where you got this recording. And for those of you who didn't click on it in the chat, you could right now to have it, or you can open it up in the email. And a reminder, we meet the first Wednesday of the month. Yolanda Swaley's showing us a picture of some sort. First Wednesday of the month, 9 to 11 a.m. And we will be with Tara again for a deepening of this teaching. So I will hand it back to Claudine and you can close us, and we bless you. We thank you, Melissa, for bringing us together, and blessings to Golden Girls Global as the spirit that she is. Mwah.
Thank you, Saida, and thank you, Tara, and to everyone. And I am so excited for the next council because Tara already gave us a prompt of what we're going to be talking about. I hope we come prepared and bring many friends so they can continue to benefit from this. We started with a prayer. We will end with a prayer. May today there be peace within our hearts. May we trust our divine, that we are exactly where we are meant to be. And may we not forget the infinite possibilities that we are born to succeed. And may we use those gifts that we have received and pass on the love that has been given to us. May we be content knowing we are we are children of the Most High God, and may we let this moment that we have shared intimately into our bones, our bodies, and may we allow our soul to freedom to sing, to dance, to praise, and to love. And it is here for each and every one of us. Let's celebrate and have fun. Thank you. And have a lovely day.
Thank you. Have a great day. Oh.
Thank you. Bye-bye.